Now, if it's going to be a reasonable deal and we can bring in Lamelo and we can still have enough cap space to fill around Lamelo so he's not trying to be out there and do everything by himself, then I think the Knicks would be on a very good path. And I'm liking what I'm hearing when it comes to some of these rumors. That Brickbrook rumor, that's a no-go. We need no parts of that. Hey, how's it going? I'm Keith here at Sports Vibes TV, and there were multiple news stories circulating last night in regards to the New York Knicks and their potential plans this offseason. One of those big stories circulating was in regards to CP3 and a potential acquisition. Now, Ian Begley reported that the Knicks are a little wary of including too many assets or too many young players in any deal for CP3. Now, I've recently made a video talking about any potential CP3 deal and that we all should, wait and see exactly what the offer is that the Thunder are looking for. Now, it sounds like Leon Rose is, looking at the situation the same way I'm looking at it. We do not want to give up too many assets to bring in an aging Chris Paul. Now, if we can bring him in on a much reasonable trade package, then I'm a little bit more open to it. But like I said in that video, we have to see what the Thunder, are asking for. And Ian Begley is saying the reason the Knicks don't want to include a lot of these young players is because they may have other subsequent moves that they're trying to work on that include some of these players. So if I'm Frank Nitti, if I'm Kevin Knox, if I'm DSJ, I'd be worried right now because it seems like those players may not necessarily be in the long-term future of the Knicks. It seems like Leon Rose is trying to find multiple deals to make involving these players in order to bump up our roster practically overnight. So if I was them, I wouldn't make too many plans to stay here in New York City because it seems like they may be on the way out. Now, another story that was circulating is more so because of me. I'm going to be going live November 18th, an hour before the draft, and I hope to see you guys there. If you guys are looking forward to it as well, I would just ask you to consider subscribing, hitting that notification icon. That way you're notified when I do go live. Now, back to the real news. The second story that was circulating was involving Russell Brickbrook. Now, if anybody knows me, I'm not a fan of Brickbrook's game. I believe he's a stat stuffer, and I prefer if the Knicks would stay far away from him. That contract that he is on right now is atrocious. And I'm pretty sure the owner or whoever the Rockets are going to tap as their new president of operation and GM is going to want something of value in return. They're going to want to try to keep James Harden happy. If they're going to have to split up the two, I'm pretty sure Brickbrook's going to be the one to go. And they need assets in return to show James Harden, look, we're still going to try to be a contender with you on the team. And I don't want the Knicks to be that sucker. The Knicks have repeatedly traded for these marquee names that are on the tail end of their career. Not to say Brickbrook is on the tail end of his career. I just think, he has already plateaued. He's not going to get much better. We don't really see him, improving his jump shot. And, for what we're paying him, we're going to get him on the downslope of his career. He's an athletic point guard who relies on that athleticism in all facets of the game. So once his athleticism goes, what would we be left with? We'd be left with a player that can't really shoot and will have lost the ability to get to the basket efficiently. I mean, he gets to the basket, but he doesn't really shoot too efficient, at the moment. So now if he's going to be depleted of certain, skills or athletic gifts, I don't want to be stuck with that contract when that time comes. Now, you might say Chris Paul might be similar, and, I was okay with Chris Paul, but with Chris Paul, his game isn't predicated on his athleticism. His game is more predicated on his IQ and knowing how to find his spots on the floor to not only benefit himself, but to benefit his teammates. So that's why I would prefer a Chris Paul trade if we have to bring in a big contract as opposed to Brickbrook. And also CP3, his contract is a lot shorter when, as opposed to Russ. Now, the last story, which may actually be the biggest story if you're looking into the draft, is the Knicks are potential suitors or serious suitors for, to move up to the number 2 pick that the Warriors currently hold. I'm kind of shocked. I didn't know if we would have the requisite assets to actually engage in conversation with the Warriors. I'm not sure what we would offer outside of the 8th pick, maybe Julius Randle. But outside of that, I'm not really sure what the Warriors would need in terms of putting them over that hill to become, legitimate title contenders once again, once they have the band back together. But if the Knicks are going to make this move, I'm going to assume or guess that they're going to be targeting Lamelo. Now, they could also be targeting Anthony Edwards, but I don't know if you would trade up for him. He did not have the most encouraging, I would call it a pro day or workout for scouts. A lot of scouts said he came in overweight. So I'm guessing the Knicks may hold off on doing a trade until the actual 2nd pick, just to make sure the player that they want is there. But I think that's kind of, energizing for a Knicks fan to see that the Knicks are actually trying to go against the NBA, holding them down and not allowing them to get a top pick and doing what they have to move up. But once again, like with all the other trades that I've been, talking about or that have been rumored to be possible, it has to be the right trade. We cannot start freewheeling and dealing and start moving assets that are going to negatively impact our future trajectory or our future potential to grow and be prosperous. Now, if it's going to be a reasonable deal and we can bring in Lamelo and we can still have enough cap space to fill around Lamelo so he's not trying to be out there and do everything by himself, then I think the Knicks would be on a very good path. And I'm liking what I'm hearing when it comes to some of these rumors. That Brickbrook rumor, that's a no-go. We need no parts of that. But some of the other rumors I'm pretty, comfortable with. Now, you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section. I'm very interested in hearing your guys' opinions, all right? So once again, I'm Keith here at Sports Vibes TV, and I'm out.